hear me? Hello, friends. Okay, let's get started. Yesterday we have seen some conditional structures, right? If condition, if else condition, if else, if else. So those are the syntaxes for using conditional structures. So if we give value 1 and value 2, and in between we use comparison operator. So every time you compare 2 at a time, if you want to compare more, we will use logical AND or logical OR in between. So these are the different syntaxes of using conditional structure. So value 1 and conditional operator, this can be greater than or greater than or equal to less than or equal to, equals, not equals. These are all comparison operators. So using this we can compare in if condition or if else or else, if else, if else, if else. So I just came up with some homework examples that you can do on your own. So I will share this with you. You can try. Okay, some of these. Okay, some of these I haven't just started, like constructor. I will cover this today. But you can do this first one. Create a function that would accept 5 different salaries in double format and print 2 minimum income values. All right. So yesterday we have already seen how to calculate minimum out of given values 3. So in this case I am passing 5. Likewise, you can create a function that would accept 5 different salaries in double format. So basically you have to accept in floating point with a decimal and print 3 maximum income values. So you know how to do that, right? You have to use this or 1 at a time. Okay, 2 at a time. Create 2 overloaded functions. So overloaded means same function name but with different signature. That would accept 2 strings, first name, last name, and 3 strings, first name, middle name, last name, as arguments, and print console with full name. Okay, in space with the space in between them. So this would be very, very easy. So all you have to do is create like this. Name. With signature will be like this, public void print name, last name. So this is one, and the one would be, so this would just print from, that is for your homework. So you already know using system.println you can do that. So one more is, and you have to print with space in between. Okay, so you figure out, I already showed you how to concatenate strings with the variables. All right, string middle name is full order function. So this would print the same thing, but it would print full name with middle name as well, with the space in between, of course. So for this, what would you do? I'm just giving you a hint. So this is not the complete solution. So you have to try that on your own. So how do you do that? Anyone? Just tell me the function name like this. How does the function look like? I mean, not the complete definition, just the signature. What would you call it? So I am accepting 5 arguments and not returning anything, so it should be void. And what should be the function name? Any name that suits the functionality, right? What should be the name? Minimum. So it should be in camel case. So always the method name should start with small letter, and every new word must start with the capital letter. So that's called camel case. Normally this itself is called small case or lower case. This is called upper case, right? So if you follow this convention, naming convention or nomenclature, we call it. So that would be camel case. So always follow the common camel case for function names. So function name can be minimum salary, right? That's what it says. And what are the arguments I need to pass? 5 different salaries in double format. So how would it look like? Double, sal1, double, sal2, sal3, double, sal4, double, sal5. Then you define the logic goes inside. This is just a signature. So logic using this if else and all those. Okay, so now create a function that would accept 5 different salaries in double format. Print maximum. So it would be similar to this signature. The logic will definitely change, but in this case the name changes. Okay, so all you print is a maximum salary out of this. So comparison operators will be helpful in determining those. And third one is, you already know, create a class with constructor, default parameterized and data setters for 5 variables: first name, middle name, last name, age, income, with print statement. Ravi Kumar Verma, age 30, has income, so and so. Okay, so this you can do after today's session. So I'll tell you. Create reusable function for returning minimum and maximum values if 3 numbers are passed as arguments. So this you can do already. So how do you do this? Returning minimum and maximum. So it has to be public integer or double. So let's use double, and this will return min, max, and it will take. It's already covered, so you just have, you can see the trend. Just do it on your own without, I mean, just go through first and then without looking at it, you can try. So if initially you will get errors, that's fine, but you keep on resolving them, you will achieve this. 3 numbers, so returning maximum minimum value. So let's call value 1, value 2, value 3. So this is returning something, so you have to have return statement also. So return whatever the max, return maximum and minimum values. Okay, so basically you will write the logic, either you return maximum in case of maximum or minimum. Okay, so you try that. Okay, so next we'll start constructors. Constructors, like I said, are useful in initializing the values, default values. If nothing is mentioned, if you do not assign any values, then what to take default values if you don't assign. So the constructors are used just for that purpose. So the name of the constructor should be equal to the class name. That is the first and foremost condition. And as soon as the class is executed, the constructor will be called first automatically. So this is nothing you have to do. Okay, so there are 2 types of constructors. One is default constructor, okay, to initialize values to avoid getting null values, just as I said before, at the time of instantiation itself. So as soon as you instantiate right, class name, object name is equal to new constructor. So it will be called. Parameterized constructor is to assign multiple sets of values to variables in class based on requirement. So the default constructor do not have any arguments, and it's called automatically when class is instantiated exactly first. And parameterized constructor is a constructor parameters, and this can be called explicitly if you want to pass something. Okay. And getters and setters to assign values to particular variable. For example, if I want to assign the first name, then I will assign set first name. I will call the first name that will and pass the first name value. So that will assign the value to the variable in the class. Getter is to get the particular variable value. So it will get simply the default value, whatever is assigned. So these are just to assign values to fields. Getter is to get those values and setter is to set the values. So it will look like this: get first name. So if I pass first name, okay. Oh, sorry, it should not return. Okay, this. So get first name should just return. Okay, it will get me first name, and where set first name, I want first set the first name. So this will be assigned to the variable. So this represents a current variable in the current class. So that will be assigned to that first name, and then once I set, if I will get this value. Whatever I set, I will get that value. Okay, so we will see this one. We will come back to this later, condition, switch case and everything. Okay, so constructor. Okay, so let's go for this one. Get to a sector example. So in the same, I will use the constructor. Okay, so like I said, okay, this is just a class name, getter setter, and I have one variable. Okay, so then I want to set the name. So set name, and I pass the name, and this will pass to X. Okay, so I can also call this name. No. So then I have to call this dot name, right? So this name is this dot name. So that is how you differentiate between this name and this name. So both are same, but most of the cases we use the same naming convention, and just to differentiate and in order to represent, we are referring to this current class variable name. So you just have to mention this dot name. So whatever I pass name, it will be assigned to this variable, and next time I will get whatever I set before. Okay. Let's get back to this. Okay, so before response, okay, we have already seen arrays, right? Array is a collection of similar data type values. So we have seen integer arrays and string arrays. Okay, so integer arrays would look like int. So you can say array of numbers. So this is how you declare an array, and if you wanna send the values, you can send the values within flower brackets 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you assign like this, and the size is already set, so the size of this array would be 4, and the first index will be array number 0. That is 1, 1 is 2, 2 is 0. Okay, so it always starts from 0. And just conceptually, I'm telling you, we have already seen loop also, for loop for displaying multiplication table to the console, right? Okay, now it is responding. Okay. So that loops for loop, while loop, and while loop. Okay, for loop syntax is this one. These are all syntaxes. Integer I is equal to 1 is the initial value, I less than or equal to 0 is a condition until I want to run the for loop, and this is the increment every time I'm increasing by 1. So if I want to decrement the value, then I can use minus, right? I is equal to I plus 1 or I is equal to minus 1. So while loop is also the same thing, but you have to initialize and increment explicitly, separately, which I have already shown in the example. So this is a condition. Do while loop, this difference between while and do while is, do while you don't check the condition in the beginning, but it will be checked from the second time onward. So you have to choose appropriately when to use while and when to use do while. Okay, so let's complete this example and come back and talk more about it. So since I changed the value x name, so it was start giving errors. So let me just and x value change. Okay. Okay, so getter setter, I can use it for constructor also, right? So let me create a constructor. Like I said, constructor name matches with the class name. So it would be simply getter setter, and it should be public, of course. And I will just okay. I will just choose list of table. Okay, so now name is a string variable which does not have any value associated with, right? So it's not defaulted, it's not initialized. So if I want to initialize, I can set its name. Name is equal to, let's say, first start with name, then we will go to the example that I showed you, first name, last name, and middle name. That, yeah. Default and parameterized, and we'll have 5 variables: first, middle, last names, and age and income, and finally we'll print this to the console. Okay, so name is equal to, I want to just say so it's yes. Okay, so let's first, this is called default constructor. Okay, let me call this, and it will be very slow. Okay, so this is the library class. So let me create a test for demonstrating this. Okay, finally open. Okay, so let's call. How do you call constructor? I already told you. At the time of instantiation, automatically it will be called. As the name of the constructor must be equal to the name of the class, and as soon as the class is executed, the constructor will be called, right? All right. So now let me show you the two statements. Name of the constructor is similar to the class name. Class name is getSetter, and name of the constructor is getSetter itself. Okay, it is just default, no arguments at all. Okay, so and when it will be called, the constructor will be called as soon as the class is constructor first. Okay, class is given. Okay, so but I did not mention one thing. Probably it's missed. As soon as the class is constructor will be called first.
আমার তো ভয় লাগে। সম্পাদক ফলো করা আসাদ ভাই আইডি ক্রিয়েট করে দেখতে পারেন।
Yes, hello.
Okay, let's try. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So let's. Can you share my screen? Oh, so you guys are sitting in a physical classroom project using projector. Is it right? That's what Jai told me. He could not able to see anything. Okay, so basically I joined the GoToMeeting again, so you have to let me share my screen again. That's the reason why you are not seeing my screen right now. Are you able to hear me? If you speak, I would know you are able to hear me. Otherwise, I wouldn't. Hello, Asad.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. I don't know rest of the other guys.
Perfect. Okay, that means you can hear me and I can hear you. Okay, so now next thing is, okay, share my screen. Okay, you have to send me a request to share my screen. Can you do that again? Okay, perfect. Now I got it. So this is the first time you are sitting in a classroom there, because you never told me. You are also recording the session, are you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll repeat the class. Okay, so far what I told you is explain the getter setter concept, default constructor, parameterized constructor.
Just sorry to interrupt. Hello, sorry to interrupt. Yes, please, people in the class, if you can hear. Okay, when the instructor is talking and he's asking you guys a question, please respond, because sometimes this will happen that audio is disconnected or not, and you won't even know he will be asking questions. So if you don't respond in the class, you won't be able to know if he's audible or not. So please try to talk in the class. If he's asking questions, please answer. All right, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, also. Yeah, that's what I was saying all the time. How many students are sitting in the class right now? Just 14, isn't it?
Yeah, approximately 12 people, approximately.
So this is the first time you're sitting. Normally it would be remote, right? They would be accessing the GoToMeeting from their homes so far. So it shows talented, I think. Maybe you're set up the physical classroom.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, if they respond when I ask a question, at least I would know what their understanding is, so that I can repeat or re-explain or whatever. So
Okay.
Otherwise I wouldn't know what's going on in their minds. Right? Okay. Anyway, so let me just repeat the same class, because I don't know whether you have attended or missed it. So default constructor and parameterized constructor and getter status, this concept is important, not just for the Java development but also for the automation. So that's the reason why I'm emphasizing on this. So constructor basically will have the same name as a class, okay, and this default constructor will be called automatically when I instantiate the class, so there is no need to call it explicitly. But parameterized constructor, like the name suggests, in the default constructor, if I pass any parameters, and that will be called parameterized constructor. And if I want to call this, I have to explicitly pass some values. and getter setter's job is to just assign a value to particular variable and get it, and setter's value is just to assign, and getter value is to get that particular variable. Okay, so let's see this in the action. So initially I'm not complicating the example. I'm just taking one variable called name. Okay, so initial value is null. Obviously, if I do not assign any value, its initial value will be null. So this is similar to not having anything, but it is good to have at least null. And default constructor, the class name is getter setters, right? And public class name and bracket open bracket close, this will represent it's a default constructor. And the main purpose of default constructor is to initialize the values. Okay, in reality, that is the main purpose. Even Java developer or automation tester will do the same thing. They use the constructor for initializing. For example, I want to establish connection to database, let's say. Okay, so for that I want to have 5 values, right? Database name, host name, port number, username, password. So 5 values. So if I just declare here, it wouldn't be any good. So in that case, I would just initialize them with what username, password I want to pass to the database in order to connect it. So I just initialize the value. Name was null and name equal to Sangam. That means I initialize the value. That means I defaulted it. This is a default value.
Sangam,
Default.
is it possible to make the font little bit bigger?
Okay.
Better to.
We should have told me before. Okay, no issue.
The font size little bit bigger.
Right, I am coming to that. So I can go to the settings and be able to change the font. So it will be in the preferences, colors, fonts, Java, editor. Courier New 10 is the current one. Let's edit. Let's make it 20 and see if you can. 20 may be more, right? Okay, so you just tell me if it is visible, fine, then we'll use. This is too very big, isn't it? So let's go with the 15. 15. Okay, 16. Okay. Okay, now tell me, is it font fine? I'll just increase.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay, perfect. Okay. Getter setter and name is null, and getter setter constructor is job is to default it to something. So I'm just defaulting it to Sangam. Okay. And just to see what's the output is, I'm also printing it. So I created a display name function and I'm just printing what the current value is. The current values can be gotten using the this dot. So this dot represent the current variable that belongs to the class, this class. Okay, this means this class. And super means it's parent class. If I extend this, extends parent class, whatever, so that will be super. So then I can use super dot. So it will be pointing to that. Okay, because I don't have the super class right now, I don't need it. So this you can try. So let's first concentrate on getter setter and default constructor concept. So initial value is Sangam and I'm just displaying. Okay, now I don't want to have the default values. I want to be able to pass my own values. Okay, for the all variables. Okay, if I am going to increase this, extend this example to 5 more variables. Okay, but right now I just want to change the name. okay, and be able to pass my name from the runtime. Okay, then I'll just pass the parameters. Since I'm passing parameters, it is called parameterized constructor. Okay, no parameters, default constructor. Parameterized parameters, parameterized constructor. Okay, simple as it. And so this name I am passing from the runtime. Okay, here from wherever I execute from the test. This is not the test, this is the test. And this name I want to assign. So the name I will pass assign to. All right. So that is the main purpose of parameterized constructor. Then whatever I pass, the name will be displayed. I mean here, it will be printed here. Okay. Now that is perfect. Now getter. Whatever is the current name, I want to get it. Okay. So simply you use get name. So get followed by the variable name will get, like get first name, get last name, get salary, get age. Okay. So as many, if you have 5 variables, you can have 5 getters and 5 setters. You can write these getter setters manually, or you can also automatically you can have getter setters like this. It will be source, not source. Right here, yeah. Getters, generate getter setters. This will also do generate getter setters for you. So initially, I would suggest you do it manually. But if we have, for example, 100 variables, it's very difficult to create the getter setters 100 times, right? So then we would create them like this, generate getter setters. So I'll show you this for the next example. So don't worry about this. So for now, we will create one getter, so that will get me the name, current value, and same thing that the parameterized constructor acts as, I can set name, but one variable at a time. Set name, and whatever name I pass, that will be assigned to this name, and then I can display, and whatever the set value is, that will be displayed. So let's see this in action. Okay, so far how do we execute a default constructor? You don't. You just instantiate the class and automatically it would execute it for you. So this will be executed. So the main purpose of the constructor, default constructor, is to make it executed by default at the time of instantiation only. So the default constructor is called at the time of instantiation itself. Okay, so same way parameterized constructor, if I pass the value, it will call parameterized constructor. Okay, so either I can have this or this. So I already showed you example of this. So I'm commenting this. Now getter call, the name is Sangam. So basically what I'm trying to do, I'm getting the name, okay, and printing it to the console. So which name it will be gotten? Whatever is the default value. So the same Sangam is the default value, which is defaulted in the default constructor, right? And I want to set the name. So I don't want to display Sangam. I want to set my own name. So let's set Java. Then if I want to set Java, then it will display the same thing. So this value will be set to the original name, the variable name. And then if I display, I'll be able to display that gs dot display name will display Java. Okay, so let's try this in action. So it will show Sangam and Java. Okay, first Sangam and Sangam, then Java. Okay, right? Then if I get after this again Java. Okay, so let's have a getter call again later. So let's try to run the constructor test. Okay, so since I gone full screen, the console is displayed on the right side, not the below. Okay, so just make a note of it. So name is Sangam, that is a default constructor call. Okay, and this, the name is Sangam, where I'm getting is this. Now I set the value to Java. So Sangam changed it to Java, right? Name is Java now. See, this setter call made the value changed here, right? Then I'm again, okay, basically the display name changed here. Display name is displaying. It already changed, but display name is displaying. Now when I again get it, that would be pointing to the current name, Java, okay? So initial getter set, the name is Sangam. Then later after set again, if I'm getting, it is displaying, name is Java, okay? So that's how the values are keep on changing, okay? Now let's extend this to our homework example. So basically I'm doing the homework example for you. So create a class with constructor, default and parameterized, and get us a setter for 5 variables: first name, middle name, last name, age, income. And my job is to print this whole thing. So this can be first name, middle name, last name. It's just an example. Age. So like this should be the final output. Okay. Now let's try that. So I'll keep this test aside and I'll create a new test, because this will be simple test and it will act as a reference for the beginning Java learners. Okay, so now let's have one more. Or shall we use the same thing? Okay, let's create one more because that will be easier. Okay, so what do you want to call this class as? Let's call constructor. Okay, so in this I don't want to have main because this will act as just a library. Constructor, and we'll call this in the constructor test. We'll use the same test. All right. Okay, so I'll have 5 variables, which are string first name, string last name. See, always you use a camel case for variable names and method names. Okay, so starting with small, each new word starts with a caps. That's a camel case. String. Okay, so first name, middle name, right? Middle name, then last name. Okay, so then I want to have age and income. So age can be what? Data type integer, right? We are just going to declare the variables appropriately. So I cannot take string, right, for age. That would be inappropriate. And I want income. So what data type I can declare income as? Can anyone tell me? This is how I want it to look like. So what?
Double,
right? Double income. Okay, perfect. I have 5 variables. So this is a variable declaration. I'm writing this the comments for readability and for understanding later. And it is always a good idea to write comments like this, even in project. Okay, so now we will create a default constructor. So default constructor will have public. Okay, it has to be public because you cannot access in other classes if it's not public. And its name must be matching the class name. And bracket open, bracket close, because it's default, right? So what is its job? What is the primary purpose of the constructor? I mean, you should know, right? If you're using, you should know. The primary purpose of constructor is to initialize the variables. So these variables are not initialized. That means they are all null right now. So it's almost like saying age equals to 0, income equals to 0, first name equals to null. Okay. So let's initialize these values here. So how do I initialize these values? Using this dot first name. Okay, so this dot first name equals, tell me any name. Any name. So let's use the same name, Ravi Kumar Verma. So let's use Ravi. That is my default value. What is the default value? Default value is a value which is like, if I do not assign any value, then I want this value to be taken. Okay, if I do not, okay, so that is the case right now. I did not assign any values, and for the first time I want these values to be taken into consideration, but later on I can change. If I have these values assigned, I don't want this, but if I do not have these values assigned, then I can go for the default constructor. That is the main purpose. So basic point is, you don't leave any variables unassigned. So if you did, then at least have them assigned in the default constructor. That is the main purpose. Okay, so this dot last name equals Kumar. Now you might ask me a question, why this dot? Because I want to point to this one, right? So see this, control, click this, it will take me to this. So that's how I know. See, these two are highlighted. So this dot first name refers to this first name. Okay. Now, okay, one more light. Oh, this is actually, this is supposed to be middle name, not last name. And this dot last name is Verma. Okay. This dot age equals, let me set it to 30. Okay, integer, so no quotes. And this dot cell income equals 55K, 55,000. Okay, since it's double, I can put 00.00. Okay, so that's it. Okay, I initialize these values. That means defaulted these variables to these initial values. Okay, now I can have parameterized constructor. What is the main purpose of parameterized constructor? To be able to assign my own values on apart from these default values. Okay, so it will also be the similar in terms of its signature. So this will be parameterized constructor. So its basic definition changes, basic declaration will be similar. Same thing, it will be of public, access type is public, access modifier, and its name should match with the first name, just like default constructor. But only difference is it will have its own parameters. What parameters? These parameters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them should be covered in parameterized constructor. Okay, that is a basic. Conceptually, that is how it is. Okay, now I should be able to pass string first name. Okay, see, I am taking the same names, first name. Okay, so just to avoid the confusion, but I'll be using this dot first name in order to refer to this, but this first name just first name. Okay, so that's how this dot will refer to this. That's how. So you can say I can use f name here. Okay, f name, l name, m name. Okay, but again, if I keep on changing names, it will be more confusion. So instead, I would use the same name and differentiate between this and that using this dot. Okay, string middle name, string last name, and integer age and double income. Okay, so now I have all the 5 parameters. Okay, now since I am passing the 5 parameters, what is the main purpose of passing these 5 parameters? I want to assign these values to these guys. Okay, that is the main purpose. So I have to assign these. How would I assign these? This dot first name equals first name. Okay, now watch carefully. This dot first name is referring to this first name. Okay, this first name is referring to this first name. See, as and when I highlighted, these two are highlighted. That means this first name will be assigned to this first name. Okay, so all these are similar. This. Okay, all are pointing to this. This first name is pointing to this one. This dot first name is pointing to this dot first name. Okay, that is the difference. So let's continue. This dot middle name equals middle name. This dot last name equals last name. This dot age equals age, and this dot income equals income. Okay, so that's it. That's the job of parameterized constructor. Okay, so now we will create some getters and setters, right? Now I already told you, if you have more variables, it's better to use the Eclipse getters and setters. So let's try to use that instead of creating them manually. So you can go to source, right click in the class and go to source and generate getters and setters. But initially I advise you to create them manually so that you can get your hands on, for just for practice. Do not use this. So this is for the project purpose. Generate getters and setters will generate now. So it will show the dialog. So these are the 5 variables, right? Age, first name, income, last name, middle name. So I can select all or select few. Okay. So it will create get age and set age. Okay. Both getters and setters will be created. And if I only want getters, just select getters. So only getters will be selected. Setters will not be selected. If you only want setters, only setters will be selected. If I want all of them, select all. Okay. Now, where do you want to place this? It will ask you after constructor, after the default parameterized constructor. Okay. So it will be placed right here. And sort by getter setters. I can also sort them. Okay. Getter setters where you want are first getters, then setters. It will also ask you. Okay. So I want getter setter space, which is more appropriate. So I will have get first name, then set first name, then get last name, set last name. So like this. Or if you select this one, it will display like get first name, get middle name, get last name, then set first name, set middle name, set last name. So all the getter setters pairs are getters first setter. And public is advisable, because if you select any one of these, you will not be able to access these in other classes. So public is. And if you want to generate comments like method level comments, you can. Okay. So initial, it will just put like getter before that. It will say what parameters it is taking and what is the main purpose and all those. Okay. So you can select this later also. And I will place this after parameterized constructor and click OK. Okay, so now all these are automatically created for you. So let's just go through one by one. So just for your understanding, I'm writing getter and setter. Okay, so this will be repeated: getter first name, set first name, then get middle name, set middle name. So you can have this, or like I told you before, if you select the other option, it would be like all getters first, get, then set. So it's up to you. But I would prefer this one because all the variables I want to deal with first name first, then middle name, then last name. So I want this. My preference is like this. Okay. So getter will, just like the way we have defined the getter setters before, it will be similar. Public string, it will return something. So it will be getting something. So it should have return statement string, and get first name. It will simply return first name. So since I don't have first name again, you don't have to mention this dot, but you can mention this dot. It doesn't matter. Okay. Same thing. And setter will act as a setter, just like default parameterized constructor for all of them. I just want to change my middle name, let's say. Then I will be using set middle name. So in this case, whatever first name I pass, that will be, see, this dot first name. First name will be assigned to this dot first name. So whatever I pass first name as, this will be assigned to this guy. So then whatever I print, it will be printed. So I can have print statement at the very end. So let's have public display name, right? Oh. So my homework example says I should print this first name, middle name, last name, age, it's so and so, age, has income, $, so and so per annum. Okay, that's how my output should be. That's the homework. Okay, so let me try to achieve this. I'm just copying this, and just for the sake of reference, I am putting it here. Okay, so the display is not a constructor, so you have to have void or a return type, so otherwise it will throw error. Okay, now it is fine. Okay, so how do we construct this? Sys out in control space. So system.println. Okay, now tell me, what is this? Ravi. Yes, what is that? Ravi is the first name. So what is the first name? First name, right? So tell me, first name, and then see the space. This is very important, okay, to construct this system out. So you have to mimic this exactly. So space, first name is a variable name, then plus is a concatenation operator, right? Then have some space here. Exactly, I'm seeing here and defining, designing it here. Okay, so you just have to carefully watch this and design this sysout statement, log statement, or whatever. Okay, then comes what? What is this, Kumar? How do you generalize this? This is the specific statement, right? You have to generalize and put it in the sysout. So this is what name? Middle name. Middle name, yeah. And then space. So I can copy paste, then last name and space, and aged. Okay, aged, last name, after last name aged should come, right? So space age, that's fine, or I can just put 1, space aged, then space again. Okay, then actual age. So what is actual age? Age is age, variable age. So there is a difference between this age and this. Okay, this is a string and this is a variable string. This is the string literal and this is a variable string. Okay, that is the difference. Age is age, and then plus has space, space, and I should also put $, right? And now concatenation operator, and then actual income. So actual income I can put. You can also design like comma separated. Sometimes you have to mention comma like this, or you can put just 55000. So I leave that for you. You can design this comma. And right now I am just going with the then again plus string and per annum. Okay, so I can put this, and that's it, and the full stuff if you want to have. Okay, So let's try to print this. This is my output. Example. Okay, so but you have to call this display explicitly wherever you want to display, otherwise it won't display. So either you can call it in my test or I can call it right here. Okay, so whichever you prefer. I will prefer to call it explicitly because I don't want to put this display in the constructor, whether it's default or parameterized or getter or setter. That would be very awkward, right? So display is just wherever I want to display, I'll call it explicitly. Okay, so now we will go to the test. Now I created default constructor, parameterized constructor, default constructor, parameterized constructor, and some getter setters for all the variables, right? Now I will go to my test, which is constructor test. Same test, but we will change this to something else. Okay. So now we will use example. Okay. Same test I am using, don't worry. And I'll just mention this so that you know. Okay. That is my example program. So instead of single line comment, I'll just put multi-line comment so that you know. Okay. Okay, so I'll just comment these so that we won't call these anymore. Okay, so I want to call default constructor, right? How would I call the default constructor? Just by instantiating it. So what is the class name? Constructor is a class name, right? So I'm calling default constructor call. Constructor, that is my class name. Okay, let's call it C equals new constructor. Okay, and just import it, just hover over it and import that. Okay, so just be careful. If there are multiple packages, it will show multiple imports, so you have to choose carefully. So this import constructor, it's coming from Java lang.reflect. It's not my constructor. See, the constructor I defined in library, right? That is my constructor. So I have to click on this, not the first one. All right. So if it shows like 20 import statements, you have to choose carefully. So this library is mine. This library dot constructor is mine. That is what I have imported. Otherwise, it would import unnecessarily. Constructor. See, this is the constructor imported, and the getter setter is for the previous example. Okay. Now let's see this in action. But in order to display, in order to see the output, what we have to do? We have to call the display. So let's call this display. Instead of display name, I'll call this just display, so that we can differentiate between previous display and this display. Okay. Now let's run this quickly. And see. So what it will display? Ravi Kumar Verma, age 30 years, income 55K per annum. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's what we wanted. Now let's try the parameterized constructor call. After each call, we will just call display so that we can have output displayed to the console. Param constructor. Okay, how do I call the parameterized constructor? Tell me. Same way, constructor C. It's called C1 because I cannot use the same name again. Equals new constructor and okay, now it will show, control space will show. This is the default constructor and this is the parameterized constructor, right? Now I'm gonna call that one. Okay, let me go full screen. Okay, now the main purpose of parameterized constructor is to be able to pass my own values. So let's pass instead of Ravi Kumar Verma. So let me pass Sangam. Okay, age I can pass 35 and income, let's pass 60.50. Okay, just for having this decimal point I'm passing this. Okay, so this will have the old values reset with these values. So these values will replace the original values, whatever this Ravi Kumar Verma is there, right? So those values will be overwritten. Okay, now to see that in action, I have to call that C1 dot display, isn't it? Okay, so now let's see the output quickly. Okay, so first this default constructor's output is Ravi Kumar Verma, age 30, has income so and so. Now I call the parameterized constructor with my own values. Then it changes it to Sangam E Yad, age 35, has income 60,000.58 per annum. Okay, so that means I have given my own values, right? Okay, so now let's call the getters and setters also, few of them, and I will end the class so that you can have lab class today. Okay, so getter, how would I get something? So I'll try to get right here something and see. So getter call. Okay, so it's always advisable to have the setter call first, then have the getter call, because I will set something and see if that is changed or not. Okay, so that will be easier to understand. So first I'll call setter, then call getter. Okay, so now last call I set is Sangam, right? Now this will be changed. I can change anything. So which one you want to call? I can use any instance, C or C1, doesn't matter. Okay, C1 is basically, it's for default parameterized constructor. So C1, let's use C itself if you want. C dot, which one you want to set? Set age, first name, income, last name, middle name. Okay, so choose one. Okay, so let's choose middle name, set middle name. Let's change the middle name. All right, so I want to change middle name to tell me one middle name. Okay, so that's middle name. So I just gave the middle initial first, then I realized I have to give the full middle name. Okay, so now let's try this. I set the middle name. Okay, so then I'll display it, C dot display. Okay, so then it should be able to change its middle name and then have a getter call immediately. So same thing, getter call will just get it, but you should be able to print it. So I am printing it right away. That is only how you are gonna get the output. So C dot get middle name. Okay, so I can just display my changed middle name is. So this will display nice and easy. Okay, so let's try and run this. Okay, so if you see this, Ravi Ishwarma has, okay, so because I called with the this instance, the default constructor instance, instead of changing in Sangam, it referred to this one. Okay, I'll show you that both values. My changed middle name is Ish, right? That is perfect. And the setter is displaying after this ish, it is pointing to the original. So let's have both example, this example also. So instead of this, I will use C1. Okay. Now that will refer to Sangam ish. C1 and C1. Okay, let's try. So whichever instance you want to use, okay, based on that the output will be. So if you don't want to use, you can comment out, but I just want to have both, but we'll be using this instance for the parameters constructor, so that output will be appropriate. Okay, so that is the default. This is the parameters constructor output, and this is for after setting the middle name. So I set the middle name to ish, right? Then the output change it to ish here. So the same output with a different middle name. And when I call getter, my change in middle name is ish. So that's how it works. So the basic point is for initialization purposes and changing the values in the middle of the program. So then I should be able to do that using the getters, setters, and parameters constructor. And default constructor will be used for initialization purpose. If you do not have the values initialized in the beginning, so these will be used. Okay, so any questions? Today we have learned about constructor, default, param, and setters and getters. So this example is already done, so you can just go through. Okay, so tomorrow we will see different concepts in this exception handling, which I mean not tomorrow, in the next class, Tuesday. Okay guys, so you can work on these homeworks. I will send out these homework in the email. Okay, 1, 2, 3 and 5. Okay. Okay, so any questions, any doubts? Are you able to get the exported project fine and be able to import it in your local Eclipse?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. So if you, I mean, if you're comfortable with this, you can use this approach, export and import, or you can also use the
GitHub.
This one, GitHub. GitHub, I don't know if you're comfortable, but don't worry, GitHub. We will be sharing, I will share the whole project in GitHub after ending this Java session. In the next 2 classes I'll be ending. And then we will start automation with Selenium WebDriver. Then we will use this GitHub extensively. Okay. So for now, I just added these files 5 days ago. I did not even update it. So for now, you just take this as an export import. I'll share this project in the drive. Yeah. Somebody is saying something. It was distorted. Say it again. What was the question? I didn't hear you. Okay, never mind. So I'm ending this session right now. You can have a lab session with other classes. Okay, guys. So have a good day. See you in the next class.
All right. Thank you, Sangam.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Russell bhai, if you're ready, I'm going to make you the presenter. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Asad bhai.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can make me presenter now. and then I can share my screen.
Okay.
কারণ দুইটা অ্যাকাউন্ট এটা বন্ধ করে দিয়েছিলাম। Okay, so I did not share yet. Share my screen, entire screen. Okay. Let me check with that. So you guys can see my screen now. So anybody can concentrate on the class who are on site. Definitely who are online, they are seeing my screen, but who are here on the lab, just concentrate. There's the important tools when you work at office. Sometimes the company will use this software for it is called test management tool. It is HP ALM. Previously it was HP Quality Center, or it's called QC. It was very popular during like a couple of maybe 10 years ago. They use QC, but right now it is converted after 11 version. It is same thing, but extra feature they implement. It is right now it is called HP ALM. So what is ALM stand for? Application Lifecycle Management. So it is same as previously we discussed with Jira, right? So Jira also project management tool, and also project or defect management tool. But this one, not only the defect, it is also test repository, test case repository, or requirements, or it is whole things about the test. It could be for repository for requirement document, and also a test document or document. Everything they use for, and a lot of companies they are migrating their Excel test cases into ALM for repository, as a repository, and it is very common. A lot of companies they use ALM in the sense like they have a other tool as well. Suppose backtracking tools like Bugzilla or Rally or Jira. A lot of software out there, testing tools, but it is very common. This HP products, among of all of them, is very common for a lot of companies. So when you work, the thing is, when you work, you cannot ask basic things. And suppose like they will give you the test ID. There is the 4 or 5 digit number, and then maybe your manager said, can you test this test set or test cases, and then give me the report. So in the meantime, you cannot ask your colleague how you can find out the test cases from ALM, because it's very basic. So those things sometimes you feel odd, or you feel like very common things. You cannot ask a lot of things because you have experience 5-6 years. The common question you cannot ask them because they already know. So you have, at least you have experience. No resume will write down you don't have ALM, you don't have experience. Definitely it should be there. So right now today's ultimate agenda is get you more familiar, because we are not going through directly to the server side. This is sample screenshot I do have, because it is server side application. But how you log, definitely you cannot log in directly if you don't have access. So when you're going to the job at first day, and then maybe you could not able to see that test cases, because they will not assign to you any project or project access. You don't have that time. So you need to wait for that, and then they will give you, you see on the screen, all on the corner. So HTTP ALM and your company name XYZ, if it is xyz.com, and then qcbean/start_AJSP. It is your ALM URL. So in that time when you go to the office, and then that URL they provide you, and then you can, what is your next step? You can save it Word document file or in the notepad, and then you can bookmark it for future access, for quick access. Okay, and definitely they will email to you. You can get those information, and then they will assign to the project, and then they will give you the username. So sometimes password you need, sometimes you don't need to enter the password, because they will get from the SSO, single sign out, because when you log in on your laptop, definitely you use your credential, username and password. So from there they will take it. So anyhow, long story short, let's get started how ALM is working. So first page, you saw it here. In that page, application is login page. So this is the name is username, and password field is empty. Even though authentication button is enabled, right? So when you enter your username and then you click your authentication button, and then after that authentication going to be grayed out, and then second one is domain and project. This is coming from your project management team, so they will assign to you which project you wanna work, which domain you have. I just take it out something, and then oh, okay, so you could not able to see. I don't, I think anyone is, you cannot see, right? My second screen. Oh, really? Is just 1 second, because it's today's network is very slow here. Let me check. Anybody guys on online able to see my second screen? Login button is that not authentication?
No.
No. Yeah, that is. I went to the bottom part of the page, but the first part is first screenshot. You have authenticated, but if you don't see what it could be, maybe let me check with my internet connection. Yeah, here is some technical difficulties.
Seems like your screen is frozen.
Let me. Oh, okay. So seems like correct. If even though when I move, now you can see or no? Screen is not moving, right? Let me share again. Let me check it. Check it out with audio display active speaker. Would you like to? Okay. So. Okay. Then. So okay. This one. Enter screen. I want to enter screen. So can you see now? It's not.
No.
No. Yeah, give me. It's blank, but I already shared it. Let's see. Wait for a couple of seconds. Yeah, projector is parallel actually coming from that. Some people are joining by online, so we need to share with them as well. Let me check why it is. Network is very slow here. So data was, let me check with different network again. Oh my gosh. Sorry for that. Give me 1 minute. I can join with my different Wi-Fi, different access point. Let me check. Maybe it might resolve this issue. 981. Okay. 9. 81. Five point.
Okay.
So now it's fine.
Now it's fine. Yes.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, let's get started. So this is first screen. Okay, so when you enter your username and then click on authenticate, and then after that authenticate button will be grayed out, and
It is possible. Can you a little bit bigger in your screen?
Hello,
Rasul bhai? Yeah.
Russell bhai, we can't see anything. It's frozen.
On my end, actually. Yeah, Rasul bhai, can you hear me?
Asad bhai, Rasul bhai is not in the
Yeah,
meeting.
I think he's trying to configure the internet and join again.
I
Okay,
guess. Yep.
trying to get a good internet connection. Okay, Rasul, can you hear me?
Cannot even hear me. Asad bhai, do you hear me now?
Yeah, loud
The
and clear.
problem is my network is going up and down. So one network is working, and then I'm trying to another access point.
All
It
right,
seems like network issue here.
I'm making you the presenter. Okay.
Okay, let's do that. Otherwise, I will try to log in with another computer, and then let's see it is working or not. So let's get started with sharing my screen.
Yeah, you are the presenter now. Okay. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Okay, so Rasul bhai's screen is now visible. If anyone can't hear or see the screen, please let know.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, great.
So now you can see. Let's go up. It is working. I'm moving, but are you able to see? Very slow, right? Oh, so let's at least you can see maybe a couple of seconds. If it is delayed, then it is fine, but at least it is not frozen. So okay, after login, so this is the screen you may face. So that is on the left side. This is the panel. It has dashboard, management, requirement, and testing and request. So mainly as a tester, when we focus on, we need to focus on the testing tab. So under the testing tab, we have test resource, test plan, test lab, and test run. So but also sometimes you can reach out to requirement and then get the requirement document from there. So and then definitely they will tell you what is the location under which folder to which folder you have to navigate. Those information you will get from your manager or maybe your lead or your colleague. They'll navigate you or provide you the correct information where is the your actual requirements, because this requirement it could be because in the company, all company they are using, they might have 10 to 20 or 100 project running on there, and then they are maybe using for last 15 years or 20 years, we don't know. So definitely you need to know which folder location you need to access for getting correct current project information. And then after the test, we have most two tabs we need to work on. One is test lab, one is test plan. So under the test plan, you see next one. This is here. It is called name, and then you see all the blue is the folder, and then under the folder they have a lot of folder they create to based on your project project implementation. Based on the functionality they have, and then you will know which folder you need to go to get the correct test cases. And then right side you will see the test details. Suppose on the bottom, on this case, we have selected RMA to our client configuration VBA management, and then in that time here under the details tab, we have test name, test type, author, automation, creation date. Did you see creation date is like almost 4 years, more than 4 years, 4 years, and then project name, and then history, test ID. This is important also. Test ID it will generate automatically by system, but when we do in the Excel sheet, we create manually. And then on the bottom here, it has description, it has the validation. Validation is your expected result, right? What is your expected result? Description is regular description, and then the name is coming with the test case name, and then the ID is there. So everything is different format, different places, right? But if we don't use any software, then definitely we do with Excel sheet. So if you know Excel sheet properly, and then you can use any software, Rally or backtracking tools like Bugzilla or QC, ALM, whatever. So just you need to get familiar with the different tabs here and there. But ultimate goal is what columns you need to put where. You will get familiar. So based on that, our ultimate goal is how they are look like, the one test cases, and then which information. Some field is required. Did you see here is the star, the red one? Red one is required field. Some field is optional. You already see it here. Lot of field is still empty because it was not required. So that time it was not generate anything. But even they do have. I'm not saying it is only showing this this field only. It might be, it will show when you work on your project. It might have less or more because this is is the settings. Your admin, like ALM admin, will create those. Okay, and then all the way when you log in, you see all here is log out button is enabled, and then user ID, your user ID will show here, and then project domain and project name will display here, and then you have a test on the all the way menu. Menu has test, edit, view, favorite, and analysis, and then you have a lot of icons like folder, and then test icon, and then this is the filtering. And then here is the attachment, and then email or other so on. So a lot of things, log, unlock, a lot of things is here, but you will get more familiar. But this is the icon for navigation, how you can do that. And then let's go to the next page, how it look like it could be. So this is the test plan. Under the test plan, we have test plan and test lab. It's different things. Oh my gosh. Which one you are using on your network? 5G? Again for only talent. So I use talent 5G, but let me, because otherwise we need to make you presenter as well. Let's see I can do that or not. কিন্তু সবাই শেয়ার করতে পারে কিনা বুঝবো না তো, we cannot see when we share her screen, maybe you will not see. So let's see where is presenter. Asad bhai to so I am presenter here. Can we do one thing just, guys? I wanted to, maybe I'm not sure it is my laptop issue or something else. I'm doing transferring to meme. I will try to make her presenter. Let's see you're able to see or not. Are you sure? Yes. Can you share your entire screen? Okay, let's do that. Okay, so can you minimize this? Where is it? Flash drive? No, there's no flash drive even.
No, I need the adapter.
You have an adapter?
Thank you.
Okay, no push it there. Yeah, it's a UC, everywhere is UC. It's so complicated. They're making a laptop. Even though, no, it's fine. At least we can just need to share through the internet. Here is fine. If you cannot share with the projector, this is fine because everybody can log in through the laptop. So just move it and then let's see. Open the scan. Yep. Go scan. Okay, and go to scan folder. Double click and then ALM2. Okay. Are you guys able to see now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, somehow. Okay. Now fine. Let's close. Okay, let's start. Sorry. So your speaker is off, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Speaker is on. Now you can see. Okay. Now let me check. Everybody can see my screen. So what is the page? This is going to be. Now you can see, right? This touch screen. Touch. Wasting money. This laptop. I'm so used to, no? Yeah. Let's see.
Operator, I had used to that.
Sorry about that. So now screen is moving, right? Able to see?
Yes.
Okay, this is the second page, and then let's go to the third page. So basically, when on the left panel, when we double click from the test, this is called test plan. So on the left side, did you see test plan is folder here, and then under the folder we have a test set, and then so refresh button. Yeah, okay. Yeah, at least it's slow. I know network problem. Let's get continue. So another one is test. Another one is test lab. So one is you saw it test plan screen. So now we select test lab, and then test lab also has different folder, but you see here the icon is different. This icon is showing all the test, and then from the test, when you select on the right side, it will display the test, how many tests we have on the test set. So on the left side, it is the test set, which one you see open account roll over. When we select, and then under that test set, we have 6 test cases. So this is the test case. So you can select here, and then you see on the top there is a run button, and then run test set, and then you can run whole set one by another. So individually you can run, or you can run whole thing. It's based on, but the screen is little different one by another. So here is the test plan window, and then here is test lab window. And after that test lab, and then you will see when we click test run, and then when we select test run, and then it has all test ID, test case ID, test name, and then test description, what is this, and then configuration name, and then it will give you the status, what is the status, like pass or fail. So and then under the test runs, it will display to overview which one is run, or which test case is not run, or what is the status is pass or fail. There is a multiple status will show you. So this is the screen overall. Three tab is there, and then and after that, how you can find out the test, or if you need to log in the test. Suppose you want to create a new test, or create a new test set on your project based on the functionality, and then what you need to do, you see here there is the jar icon is there, and then you can click from there, and then it is showing you new test set. And when you click, and then it will pop up from your current screen, then one window, it is called new test set, and then this is the name you need to enter. And then based on these, you have more details. More details means based on the project you need to fill up. And then if you need more description, you can write down. So what is the use for, if you need a test data, you can also put here. If you need a dynamic data, there is another separate tab is there, dynamic data. So dynamic data you can select. So based on that, when you do that, and then after that, when you click OK, and then it will generate immediately test set ID or test ID. And then test details is like how you find out existing one. Suppose this is your test, and then if you go through the details, and then also you can double click or you can right click and go to the details. When you select details, it will give you the test details. Test details about like what is the under the details tab. It will give you who is the tester, username most of the time, maybe it could be a name as well. And then this is the status is no run, because it is not running. Suppose you are doing regression, and then every regression your manager will set it as a no run. And then day by day, if you have a 50 or 100 test cases, and then definitely you cannot run in a one day, you need multiple days. And then how many tests you run, you just put the status pass or fail, and then it will log with the timestamp, and then they will know which day you ran. And then this is the process. Sometimes they will do, when you do the QTP, you can also do the automation as well. Automation people can also integrate the manual test case, and then automatically it will status will change. They have some plugins and then some coding, and then they can integrate with the QC or ALM. And then here on the bottom part, you see here what is the client is there, and then description they wrote, and then validation point they put it there. Now, okay, user submit a direct rollover transaction on the web, user allocate amount to new funds, user launch the work object, perform purchase. I know you are not understanding this because you are not familiar with the functionality. So ultimate goal is under the validation, you can point it out what is your expected result, or multiple validation point you can point out. You can write down here as a bullet point. There is the bar, is you can make it bold and then underscore, or you can make it different decoration. For that you can put attachment as well. So this is your ultimately your test information.
Is this the test case creation window?
This is not test case create window. It is similar because it is sample. Like suppose previously we saw it here, it is empty. And then here is the example I showed you after that, like how it is look like, how it look like it would be. And then you need to write down here under that test details or description by based on your functionality.
So from where the test case will come in there? We see in the previous window, like in test plan and test lab, there is.
So here there is the icon. When you click, there is a new one. Everything is empty. You need to enter. But when you go through, when you go to under the test, sorry, here under the test lab, and then already is written, and then you want to execute it, and then how you find out under the test lab. Under the test lab on the left panel here, under the folder location, you know which one is need to open, and then you select that one. And then on the right panel, middle panel is location. The right one is under that test set, how many test cases you have. The individual test, when you open it, you can right click or you can go to the details, and then that page will open it here under that. And then when you open it, it will show you manual. Mostly QC we do manual run. If they automated it, suppose like it could be suppose you have 100 test cases, and then maybe automate 20 or 30 already done, then they will mention it is automated. So you don't need to run manually. Automated test case or script will do that. But it will mention you which one you need to run manually. Then manually you need to what you need to do. Steps you can find out, and then validation point you need to find out, but you know how you navigate. You enter the URL, and then where to where test steps will show. Here there is no test steps. We will go through more details how you find out the test steps as well. So go to the next screen. So here you see here, when you select under the lab, under the lab you select here, right? And then if you zoom out, then you can see here there is the status is no run, and then who is the responsible, they will show you. So make it zoom more. Yeah, so here you see the responsible person. This is the username will show you who is the responsible. Suppose if we are working 5 people on our team, and then if we have 100 test cases, and then our manager will assign to me which one I need to run, and then based on that, when I open it, I will see the name or test user ID, and then I will know, okay, this is assigned to me, and then I need to run this. And then if normally initially it will no run, and then you need to run again and again. You need to run. When you run it, it will display the more details. Let's go. So this is the screen of more details. So let's see. So here another one is how you can run. So if you go when you select, and then did you see there is a run button here? When you select, there is a run icon is here. So from drop down, there is a shortcut key also, and then from there, when you run, when you select, first you need to select which one you need to run, and then this is the row wise it will show. First one I select, and then when I hit run or click, and then it will go to next pop-up window will open, and then here you see begin run and then end run or cancel run. There is a all the way left side all the way shows, and then or run name and tester name, tester instance, all are pre-populated because already it was written.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So when if we run it manually, so we are running in the system in other environment, we are manually typing the output in this page.
No, not output we are writing. Actually,
we are writing the test case name, test case ID.
So what you can do, there is a two scenario, two way you can do. Suppose like you open that test case, and then you already knows the validation point, and then application on the browser application you open, and then go through the steps, and then you follow the steps. Here is no steps yet, but definitely you follow if you are new. And but if you are open, if you are working couple of months, definitely steps already you knows, the navigation you already knows, and you are getting familiar, and then you are navigate those, and then in a one shot you can make it pass or fail. If you go step by step, you can also put it step by step pass or fail. I will show you, and then when we go through all, and then a lot of question you will get answer. So let's go through, and then we can recap it. So here is the basically here is the all what is the build it and then what is the service pack, like environment issue, like Windows 7, which operating system you are using. Suppose like if you have a if you need to run not only Win 7, if you need to run Win 10 as well, then you can modify it. Operating system I use it Win 10, you can write down. Then service pack, maybe Windows 10 we don't have service pack as of now, then you can put it empty. If you have a Windows 7, maybe service pack 1 or 2 there, then you can mention it. Which service pack are you using, exact time or execution date will display here because this is the last one. But when you run, start running, and then it will modify it automatically. Let's see how it is. So when you click, when you click begin run, so there is a steps you already follow, right? From here, from the test, you click run, and after run, and then run window manual runner will open. This is the manual runner window open, and then here the button is on the left corner, begin run, end, and cancel. So when you click begin run, and then after that you see I mentioned it begin run, and then there is window got changed, and then here is the new like cancel or run. It's a pass selected. So there is a lot of steps. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps is there, and then based on the steps you just go through, and then here is the instruction also. Sometimes they have a more details is here. You need to check it. What is this? So sometimes they are putting here expected result, and then you can write down actual result, and left side and right side on that window. So this is, you can run. What you need to do, you just go through, and then first application got launched, right? And then from the, you see here is the tick sign is there. So when you hit, and then it will go to as a pass. So no, that's going to be screen. No, that then you cannot see even. No, for single screen is better. Yep. Single screen is better. So just make it little zoom, and then we'll go through. So we already knows this one already goes through. So after begin, we will see this is runner page, runner window, and then this is the step level. And then what you need to do, you just go through, make it pass or fail. So we'll go step by step, make it pass or fail. What you need to do, just manually you can do also. When you click here, this option is there, right? Blocked, execute item. So make it zoom. This is the status: failed, not applicable, no run, not completed. Suppose if you need to validate for 2 days, so today you are submitting, and then tomorrow it will go through somewhere, and then that time you can put it not completed. So there's a lot of status based on your testing step or test state, and then you can mention it: pass or fail, or blocked, or not applicable. If it is a old functionality, and then it's replaced with the new functionality, then you can put as a not applicable. You don't need to run it. Sometimes it could be come to on your picture. It might possible, those things. And then so this is, suppose like here in one shot. So you see here the screen is what is here, it is showing on the test lab, right? But when we select, we can immediately we can check it, not step by step, not step by step. Suppose here you can go from here, you need to run step by step. So how can you change it? Here is no drop down. Here is on your left panel, on the left side. When you select from here, pass or fail or stop, and then you can mention it, and then it will go fail or pass. Yes, so like that. This is the test step, pass or fail. But that one, the next window, you can mention. But if you want to run in test case level, not the test step level, and then you can also make it following status. You can change it in a one shot. Don't need to go through step by step, everything pass. Not like that. In one shot, just when you make it pass, all step is automatically will assign as a pass. Easy. And then this is the screen. Suppose like execution grid. Suppose from here, this is your test plan. From test lab, select the test and then right click. Suppose you are going through the test plan from your test lab. So you saw this is the test lab window is different, icon is different, right? From here, you want to go to the test plan. So check it like which test cases, and then if you right click on that test plan, or sorry, test lab, and then select go to test plan. You see here, go to test plan. When you right click on here, anyone you can select, and then right click, and then from the pop-up window, from the pop-up selection, pop-up menu, first one is test instance, alert, and then copy URL, attachment. A lot of things is there, and then based on that, if you want to go to test plan, and then you can select it. So when you select test plan, and then it will go to the steps. You see here, you can check it, design steps, and then under the design steps, it is the test step name, and then this is the action. Okay, call search client information, and then when you enter something, enter any text search box, empty text box with the following parameter: search client information, search empty text box value. So they are writing here is you are writing some client information, means client ID on the search box, and then you click search. So those steps they are written here, and then you need to follow. And then after that, here is mentioning, okay, go to the select the link value text tax center. Tax center will come under the my account. There is a link is my account. Go to the my account and select the tax center, and from the tax center, the by default it will show current year. If you go here, you see the steps. Current year, suppose they are mentioning because it was on 2011, so now it will show 2018, and then checkbox corresponding. This is the form, suppose 1099 or maybe 1042. There is a lot of tax form is there, and it will display based on the customer. And then there is a checkbox is there, send duplicate, and then when you select the button send duplicate copy button, and then from text center, they mention it here, so with the following parameters. So when you go through, and then you will understand, but right now you will not. I'm not going through the details what is the step, because application is not on your head. Application page you did not see, but ultimate goal is this is the way you need to find out from your test lab. If you go to test lab and then right click and then go to the test plan, and then from the test plan it will show you the steps. And then after that, sometimes what happens is very awkward feel happens on our personal experience. Lot of candidates, they got the job, and then a very first time manager said, okay, this is the 80302, this is your test set ID. And then your manager said, okay, could you please run this test set? And then he's just behind you, and then he said, okay, go to find out the test set or test cases. And then you feel like, how can I find out? I know that the test lab, there is a thousand folder is there, or maybe a couple of hundred, and then a lot of things is there. How can I find out easily with the test ID? Because he gave you test ID or test set ID or test case ID. There's the two things. One is test set ID. Test set ID has a lot of test cases, and then individually he can give you the test ID as well. So if they have test set ID, and then how you can go by number? So it is awkward feel happens is and then definitely you are experienced guy, and then you are this is very first time you are going to the office. They never use it, but you cannot tell them, oh, I never use it, because your resume shows so you have experience. You cannot even ask because it's a common question. So it is easy. So from when you select the test plan, and then there is the all the way at the top is a test menu is there, and when you click test menu, and then you see here go to test Alt Z. So this is the shortcut key. Always remember, this is very handy. Alt plus G like God. So did you see here Alt G? This is the shortcut. So what will happen is when you select test plan, and then from your keyboard you enter Alt and plus G, and then it will pop up the window here. And then you need to enter. I will show you on the bottom. So if you are selecting the same thing, if you select test lab, not test plan, if you select test lab, same one you have Alt Z, but it is test set. If you have a test set ID, then you need to select test lab, and then Alt Z you can do, or you can go through test set menu and then select go to test set. It will pop up open. But if you are in test plan, then only test. There is a two different window. I isolate it. One is for test plan, one is for test lab. And then after that, when you did you see here when I have test for example, I have test set 110607, and then your manager gave it to you, and then here on the morning time when you have a scrum meeting, they will tell, hey Russell, could you please run 110607 test set, and then send me the report before noon. And then what is the after meeting, you need to come open and then find out how many test cases you have, maybe 5 or 7 or maybe 3, we don't know, and then we need to run and then send to the report to our manager, right? So he might request you, and then based on that you can find out what you need to do. If they give you the test set, then make sure you are selecting test lab from the panel, left side panel, and then from your keyboard select Alt Z, or you can go select test and then sorry, test set here, or test select test, and then it will come here. So very handy. Is keyboard is better, because always you are coming through. It will show you test set or test set ID or test ID. Okay, and then after that you can go to show in what is show in 3, and then when you select show in 3, and then it will show you like that. So this is already knows how it's look like that, and then it will display, and then you need to run. So it is easy. And then this is the create new test. You already know, so we already show you before. So this all about the ALM. I know there is a lot of videos also you can go through. If you have a time, go to the YouTube and then find out HPAM tutorial for beginner. And then they have sometimes they have like integration with how you can import to export, or from your Excel sheet to you can log to the ALM. A lot of videos is there, but basically here ALM stands for HP is the company. Suppose HP is the laptop there, right? HP is the company. They are creating this application for tester or for project to using this. Suppose like we are here we are using Selenium, right? Selenium for web application only, but they have a UFT or a QTP, old one. It is HP product as well. It is automation tool, but this one is management tool. So this is all about ALM today. We walk through. And then another one is I need to go check with let me check what is from here. We can access my scan disk. Is there anything new or not? Let me check. So another one I wanted to share with you guys. Suppose sometimes you know the requirement document, right? And then requirement document could be very handy. I know it is odd. I did not flip. Can you flip this? Let me check. I think so. Go again. Yes. Okay, now we can zoom in, and then suppose this is your requirement document. How you can break down? Suppose this is for our real-time requirement document. Suppose we print it out this and then go through the navigation. So what is this? This is suppose this is the check. We already know. So in the bank or mobile, we can scan front and back, and then we send the check, and then over the night they validate it, the bank, and then after that what they do, they just balanced it. Or if there is a mismatch something, suppose you send something without signature, or you send someone is mismatched with the amount. Suppose you need to send that check, suppose 1200, but unfortunately you wrote down 120. There is a zero is missing, so definitely there is no correct amount. So if there is some mismatch or something, they can do with reject, or they can make it as a holdover. That is the status. Suppose you see holdover, and then they can reject it, or if the if happy path, they can go through. So what they said here, what is the status for the valid? So from the drop down for check status, we have multiple options: valid, holdover, or reject, or something else. So suppose these three status, they have navigation point. Suppose if it is a valid, then the status is going to be, when you select check is valid, and then our scan status is going to be changed from joined to balanced. And then after that, when it is balanced, and then they have a document on the back side on the signature. If signature is there, and then we put the amount over there, and then it become a invested. And then after invested, it is become a finish. and then everything is going to be smooth. It is called happy path all the way top to bottom after scanning. And then it is a night job, so phone associate or some person, they are validating those check, and then and after that when it is cash out, and then your account going to be credited from your source bank to credit bank or credited bank. So this is the happy path. If it is a reject, and then they make it, oh okay, something is mismatching, and then okay, so maybe someone is need to authorize some. Suppose you have a very big amount, maybe 50,000 or maybe $1 million. It could be a transaction. So that time they are maybe they are not authorized, so they make it hold over to make for approval. So maybe managerial approval they need. So in the meantime, they put the holdover status and then go to the managerial queue, and then manager will open it, and then he will review it, and then he will accept it. When he will accept, and then it will go to again, and then he change it to balance, and then after that he finish it. But if anything is mismatched with the check, or maybe some required information is missing, and then they can reject it. So what is the when it is after scan, it is going to be joined and check proc status. This is our program, and then it will when you select rejected, and then in order to you see here, in order to second pass run the deposit, all case must have systematically gone through the download queue. This is our queue, and then when it is going to the reject queue, and then the status automatically will change it download to upload, and then fin reject, find reject, and then it's going to be end queue. So you cannot use anymore. That check is going to be ended. Nobody can use it, because we have a every check has the unique number, right? So every check has the ID also. What is the router number, bank account number, and check number is required, right? That way we can find out. So what is the commission? You cannot send duplicate check. Suppose that also you need to do negative test, right? Suppose you already use it, and then you can send again for another application, and then use it the same check, make it or let the program find out is already used. If it is go through, then definitely very big bug, right? Because it should protect. It should find out it's already used. So those things we need to check it. Suppose there is a multiple combination we need to check. Yeah, definitely. Suppose like on the end side, they need to put on a stamp on signature. Maybe in the bank side, suppose you are open a new account on the online, and then you need to send the check. Minimum requirement is open account 3,000. So definitely you are sending the check for 3,000 from your current bank to the destination bank, and then they will cash it out, right? So if suppose you have a 2,000, how they will know it is going to be cashed? It could be rejected, right? Transaction could be failed. So that time account should not be created. So those things, but this one I'm familiar, but I'm saying why I'm showing you. I know definitely you are not understanding 100%. I'm not assuming you get through 100%, but at least this is the requirement flow also. Suppose they gave you, and then how we can interpret your requirement document. If you are definitely, if you are not understand anything with the graph, don't hesitate. You can ask your manager, oh okay, what will happen? Maybe you can ask your developer, okay, if I have a holdover this, suppose multiple condition is involved. Suppose you have a multiple check, one is valid, another one is not, you did not put the signature, so that is going to be rejected or holdover, right? Or maybe you need to send it again, correct? So it could be multiple combination, it could be happen. So sometimes there is a joint account. Suppose 2, 3, 4, 5 people join together, or maybe corporate level account is there. So everybody need to send check from individual. So that then sometimes they have 20 to 50 or sometimes 100 check. It could be. Then they need to validate those one by one, right? So those lot of scenarios it will come when you test, and then definitely you need to check it with the scenarios. Sometimes one scenario we have okay, multiple check, and then how you test it. Your test data should be ready. You cannot test it by yourself because somebody scanned for you for a regular check for testing purpose. So somebody need to scan through those, and then that time maybe you need to request for that test data. Suppose for one check, multiple check, and multiple check with the application form. Multiple check would be some other form also, right? Or you can check multiple check but duplicate. Suppose you scan 2 times, it could be different. It could be human error. Suppose I'm sending 2, but who scan it, or maybe suppose you need to send it 2 check, but you forgot to select the second one. You select the first one twice. It could be a problem, right? So think about your end user, as an end user, how it could be, how you can validate. It could be a lot of scenarios you can make it. So those scenarios need to request for that. Oh, okay, give me a 2 check with the same duplicate one. Verify duplicate can verify or not. So those you need to think about. So that way, why we tell you write down the start test cases or write down the start scenarios, that will give you the power, like, okay, think about, or your brain will think about how you can test it. That way you need to write down the document it. Otherwise, whatever I told you, a lot of scenarios I told, but before, if I don't told you, then that scenario only one happy path. It could be multiple, right? So those way you need to think. So this job is why they're paying for. How critical thing you are. Then you need to, if you are a good tester, good critical thinker, then your job is going to be secure. Otherwise, project will be gone, you will be gone too. So for the next project, they will not assign you. You need to start working with it. Otherwise, you will not feel comfortable. You need to be a critical thinker. Okay. What? Oh, sorry. And another one is, now I know it's a little late. Let's get started with, I wanted to tell you, any question with ALM. So go through, we'll give you this, and then go again with that, and then you will get it easily. You will understand, hopefully. So let's go through Safari. This is your Safari?
Yeah.
Okay. Go to the another tab here, right? Add bookmark. You don't need to add to bookmark. What happened? Raspberry Pi. I know that one. I need to check it. What?
I did demo.
You needed for demo.
Okay. Now
Okay. Okay. Check also. Today I wanted to give you just overview. There is a very hot topics for cloud computing. A lot of people they are aware of, like, what they don't know what is the cloud computing. One thing. Huh? Oh, copy karo. Yes. So send everyone. It's fine. We can go through again. There is a handy on the chat. Yes. Let me go through my meeting chat. Okay, we'll send you the link as well. So I'll tell you, like, select this and then go through. This is
an AWS certification is now a must-have for professionals.
6 minutes, around 6 and a half.
You should take this online AWS certification course on Udemy.
Then it will review you
cloud computing basics.
So
the advancement of technology encompassing networks, storage, and processing power led to epitome of computing. In this century, it's called cloud computing, or commonly referred to as cloud. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is a...
Okay. So why I'm saying this, when you work at the companies, and then even though for automation, a lot of people they're asking for, okay, where you run in cloud computing like Salesforce, or a lot of keywords you can maybe you can hard like AWS or Microsoft Azure, or maybe Google Cloud or IBM Cloud, or maybe you are familiar with the Mac OS, like if you have an account, and then you can also put your picture or like account information or phone book in the cloud. So what is cloud, why it is very popular nowadays, and then that's why this review will give you the overall picture how cloud computing is working. And if you have asked the question, after that just see this 6 minute 42 seconds. Just let's get started. Just put attention on it.
That allow on-demand network access to shared computing resources, a model for managing, storing, and processing data online via the internet. Some cloud computing characteristics include on-demand service, you use it when you need it; network access, using internet as a medium; shared resources, resources are pulled together and used by multiple clients; scalability, allows elasticity of resources. 3 delivery models of cloud computing: SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Cloud computing offers different services based on 3 delivery models. When arranged in a pyramid form, they follow the order of SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. What is SaaS? SaaS, or software as a service. It is a service that offers on-demand pay-per-use of application software to users. Unlike licensed bot programs, this service is platform independent, and you don't need to install the software on your PC. The cloud runs a single instance of the software and makes it available for multiple end users. This makes cloud computing cheap. All the computing resources responsible for delivering SaaS are entirely managed by the vendor. This service is accessible via a web browser or lightweight client applications. Who uses SaaS? End customers are frequent users of SaaS. Example products and services of SaaS. Popular SaaS providers offer the following products and services: the Google ecosystem such as Gmail, Google Docs, and Google Drive; Microsoft Office 365, HR and help desk solutions, and customer relationship management services such as Salesforce. Pros: universally accessible from any platform. No need to commute. You can work from any place. Excellent for collaborative working. Vendor provides modest software tools. Allows for multi-tenancy. Cons: portability and browser issues. Internet performance may dictate overall performance. Compliance restrictions. What is PaaS? PaaS, or Platform as a Service. This service is mainly a development environment and is made up of a programming language execution environment, an operating system, a web server, and a database. All of this encapsulate the environment where users can build, compile, and run their programs without worrying of the underlying infrastructure. In this model, you manage data and the application resources. All other resources are managed by the vendor. Who uses PaaS? This is a domain for developers. Example products and services of PaaS. Cloud providers have the following as the PaaS products and services: Amazon Web Services, Elastic Beanstalk, Google App Engine, Windows Azure Heroku, and Force.com. Pros: cost-effective, rapid development. It's scalable. Faster market for developers. Easy deployment of web applications. Private or public deployment is possible. Cons: developers are limited to providers' languages and tools. Migration issues, such as the risk of vendor lock-in. What is IaaS? IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service. This service offers the computing architecture and infrastructure. That is, it offers all computing resources but in a virtual environment so that multiple users can access them. These resources include data storage, virtualization, servers, and networking. Most vendors are responsible for managing the above 4 resources. If you will use this service, you will be responsible for handling other resources such as applications, data, runtime, and middleware. Who uses EAS? EAS is mainly for sysadmins. Example products and services of EAS. They include Amazon EC2, GoGrid, and Rackspace.com. Pros: the cloud provides the infrastructure. Enhanced scalability, dynamic workloads are supported. EAS is flexible. Cons: security issues, network and service delays. Examples of companies that use cloud computing. Amazon's AWS, or Amazon Web Services. When it comes to companies using cloud computing, AWS takes the lead. This cloud computing company offers EAS and PaaS services to its customers. It's popular for its Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, among other services such as Elastic Beanstalk, Simple Storage Service, S3, and Relational Database Service, or RDS. Apart from the complete suite of cloud computing, it offers other cloud-related services including Internet of Things, IoT, cloud security, and mobile services. iCloud. This cloud from Apple is majorly for Apple products. It allows you to back up and store all your multimedia and other documents online. This content is then seamlessly integrated onto all your devices or apps in case you access it from them. Microsoft Azure. This cloud is used and offered by Microsoft. It offers EAS, PaaS, and SaaS for its enterprise software and developer tools. If you have ever used Office 365 products, then you have used SaaS. Google Cloud. The Google Cloud Platform is a universal cloud for Google's vast ecosystem, and also for other products such as Microsoft Office. It allows collaboration, storage of data, and also other services offered by its cloud computing suite. IBM Smart Cloud. Using private, public, and hybrid deployment models, IBM Smart Cloud provides a full range of EAS, PaaS, and SaaS cloud computing services to businesses. Using pay-as-you-go model, this cloud generates revenue for IBM.
Google cloud system. No, mostly right now, suppose like in the database, we would say database is dominating market 60% to 70% is Oracle database.
Demand better. Experience technology built for better returns, personalized advice, and low transparency.
Now, Oracle cloud database আছে কিন্তু Oracle is the database software, right? So database software, they are dominating all software industry.
Hello, as you know, I'm Eli, the computer guy over here for everymanit.com, and today's class.
So basically, in the database sector, Oracle is dominating the market, 70%. The same way, if we say cloud computing, AWS, Amazon Web Service, they have dominating like 60% in the market. So that's why nowadays, suppose you want to be a AWS developer or AWS architect, you get tons of money, because it's very few people are getting certificate for that, and then few people are knows, and then it is demanded a lot of places. AWS certification candidate, and also it is depends on like how you can use it, because there is if you know like you see EC2 or S3, they have some components you need to go through and then get the more deeper knowledge. But ultimate goal is these short videos give you the picture like what is the cloud computing, why it is very popular, because that one is supposed to, we already know the virtual machine, right? Virtual machine give you the share resource. Suppose previously what happens is for performance testing as well, suppose like on the Black Friday, and then a lot of people are going to the Cyber Monday for shopping, and suppose you have a one server, and then if that server could handle maybe 2,000 users or 5,000 users, suppose your application hit by 10,000 users or 50,000 users, if it is a popular, then your server is going to be unavailable or not responsive, because a lot of load, a lot of requests will come, and then it will crash. And then in that time, you don't need to what you need to do, you need to buy more resource and then more server, and then deploy it. Suppose if you have a one server can handle 10,000 user, and then if you need a 50,000, then you need a five server unit. If your server can handle 2,000, then 50,000 customer you need to make 25 a server. So it is costly, but the target is like for certain day. It is not every day, you don't need it, but it is wasting money also for big investment, right? You need, and then also that need to maintenance as well. But nowadays people, what they do, they're going to the Amazon service, and then Amazon has the service, and then Amazon give you, okay, you can rent it. Suppose like what is the AWS? Just cloud computing is like you are renting the apartment, you are not owner the house, so you are renting. So what is the service you need? You just get from the service. You just pay for that, and after that you don't need it, you can release, you can get off. For management means some service holder, they provide the service. It depends on what you need. If you need a hardware, suppose you are capable to deploy it, or you are responsible for development application, but you are not responsible for the hardware or internet connection or memory or chip, everything. You don't need it, so to maintain it, so that time you can rent it. So those service, that's why it is exist. Suppose same way the cloud computing is like, you can compare with the rent of apartment, and then not rather than the buy the apartment. If you are physically buy the machine, you need to hire the system admin, and then maintenance those, and then if you need to upgrade, then physically you need to do, but you don't need to. If you need to upgrade, definitely you can upgrade your service, pay for more, and then you get the more service. Same thing like cable internet. Suppose if you need to more channel, then you need to pay more, and then if you need a more speed, then you need to pay more. Something similar like that. You got it? Those are the things. Because why we give you this is nowadays you need to get that knowledge, and then IAS, PAS, and SAS, PAS, and IAS. So those are important. It is different categories, because based on your service, what service you need. And then after that, AWS, and then Microsoft Azure is the second position, and then also cloud, Google Cloud. So everybody in the position, but why AWS is more? Because they started fast, and then nowadays they have a lot of billions of revenue coming, not only the Amazon.com, from AWS as well. So those the actually today is 1:30 now. We had some difficulties, we already knows. Sorry for that. Actually here network was slow here, so that's why we could not even like properly connected, and then we waste time as well. So I apologize for that, but just keep study, and then we'll talk to the next class. And then definitely I will request to everyone, just start writing a test cases. Otherwise I'm saying like I will inform Jahid bhai as well, like you are doing class, and then don't think about like you are finish the course, and then if you are not familiar with the writing test cases, and then you will get the job, and then you will feel comfortable. It is not possible. So just start writing, because when you start writing, your mind will work. Otherwise a lot of resource you will see, but when it will come on your neck, you could not able to survive, or you could not able to write down, and then you don't feel comfortable. I'm saying again and again, I didn't see anyone who sent me the test cases. Definitely. So it is not like I'm not doing the babysitting. So everybody is adult here, and then everybody come here for job, not for watching videos, right? So okay, so bye for now, and then definitely we will see you next class, and then happy good weekend. Are already gone, but bye for now. কোথায়